Hello, New York Giants fans, and welcome to the Valentine's Views podcast here on Big Blue View Radio. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you'd like to support the program. Our New York Giants held the second day of their training camp on Thursday, and I thought we'd go live today. So hopefully you guys have comments, you have questions, you have things you want to know, players you want to ask about. Drop your thoughts, drop your comments into the chat, and I'll get to as many as I can. Just let me open with a couple of quick comments here. It was really good to see offensive lineman Jermaine Illuminor out on the field today. Illuminor took a shot, accidental shot from Dexter Lawrence on Wednesday. Left the field with what looked like it might have been a bad injury, perhaps broken ribs, something along that line. Said that his ribs are just bruised, he's sore, but also said on Thursday that he has never missed a training camp practice in his 7 or 8 year career, however long that it's been, and said he was determined not to miss this one. He did not do team periods, but he did do all of the walkthrough work, so, lined up at right tackle. So I would think that we'll see Illuminor sooner rather than later back out on the field, and that's good news for the Giants. Something that I want to say about Illuminor, Brian Daboll talked about Illuminor being a tough man, and I think that is one of the things that attracted the Giants to him. That is probably something that offensive line coach Carmen Brasillo, who had Illuminor in Las Vegas, told the Giants about him. He's showing that, and I think that toughness, that professionalism that Illuminor shows, that desire to get on the field no matter what, and at no matter what position, wherever he's asked to play, I think is something that has to rub off, has to be beneficial to the Giants. So it was really good to see Illuminor out there. Another thing about Illuminor is, let's be honest. I said this during the offseason. The Giants weren't going to move Jermaine Illuminor to right tackle just to have him practice there for a couple of days. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely 100% take the move of Jermaine Illuminor from left guard, where he practiced in the spring, out to right tackle, to mean that is where the Giants intend to line him up come week 1 when the season starts. I don't think they're going to mess around with Illuminor and bounce him out to the right tackle. And then when Evan Neal comes back, if he comes back, whenever he comes back, then bounce him back inside. I don't think the Giants are going to go there. I think, although they won't say it, Joe Shane and Brian Daboll will not say it. Don't blame them for not saying it, because they don't want to lose Evan Neal. They don't want to, they just don't want to tell him that he's lost his starting job. They don't want to come right out and say it to him. But I think it's pretty clear. I'll be very surprised if Jermaine Illuminor does not stay at the right tackle spot permanently now. Who the left guard is, who knows? It's Aaron Stinney right now. Could be Greg Van Roten, or the left guard. Could be Greg Van Roten if the Giants and Van Roten come to an agreement. Could be Justin Pugh, who played that position last year. It's still his best position. Pugh says he still wants to play, would still like to do that for the New York Giants. So perhaps if they can't come to a deal with Van Roten, perhaps they turn to Pugh. I wouldn't mind seeing Pugh, especially if he got an opportunity to play left guard, which should be his best position, and if he got an opportunity to go through the majority of a training camp. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not necessarily buying what Joe Shane said the other day about Evan Neal being not too far off. Neal did very little work the last 2 days. In fact, I didn't see him do any work on Thursday. I did see him come out of the facility to watch a little bit of practice. Um, it's kind of a bummer to watch the young man. He doesn't seem to interact with his teammates much, if at all, at least within view of the media. So I'm not sure what's going on with Evan Neal, other than the fact that we know his rehab from the ankle surgery has not gone the way that anyone would like it to go. But I wonder where Evan Neal's head is right now. I wonder just how good he feels about himself, how good he feels about being a New York Giant right now. So we'll see what happens with Neal, but I do believe that Jermaine Illuminor at this point is staying at right tackle. Quick note, Daniel Jones had a better day today, threw the ball with more authority than he did in his first day of practice, his first 11 on 11 since the torn ACL. Jones is moving, better than I thought he would move. The Giants actually did a couple of designed runs for Jones today. And really shockingly to me, they were quarterback draws up the middle in traffic. And obviously, he shouldn't get hit. He's wearing the red jersey. They're non-contact practices, but accidents do happen. So for me, not only what I see, but the fact that the Giants were willing to expose him to running into the middle, I thought was a good sign about how they feel in terms of Jones, the health of Jones' knee. Guys, remember, please, drop a comment, drop a question if you have one. I'd be happy to try to answer whatever I can. Malik Nabers, we'll talk about him a little bit. It's really interesting today during cornerback versus wide receiver one-on-ones. It was Tay Banks, Giants first-round pick a year ago, matched up a couple times with Nabers. Nabers won both reps that I saw. Red zone reps, caught 2 touchdown passes against Banks. One was a short route to the front pylon. The other one was a really nice back shoulder throw from Daniel Jones, where Nabers made an adjustment, caught the ball against Banks, who I thought was in pretty good coverage. But Nabers a guy. The Giants talk about dogs. They talk about Nabers' energy. You see it on the field. You see him celebrate the success of other players, and you see, his enthusiasm, his excitement for the game, and you can see that he's a darn good player. So, really excited to see what Malik Nabers does, come the beginning of the regular season. And, Bob Hill dropped a comment, said it's a wonderful time of year, nothing but optimism. And yes, it is. It's easy to be optimistic right now. We'll see how it all turns out. One thing that's been really interesting through the spring and the first couple days of training camp, Brian Daboll, who, by the way, there's a lot less of Brian Daboll than there was at the end of last season. He will not reveal how much weight he has lost, but Daboll was well overweight by the end of last season. This is what happens when people stress eat, when things don't go well, all that. I think, I think we understand that. Daboll has lost considerable weight. I don't know if it's 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 70 pounds, but the man is barely recognizable from the way that he was at the end of the 2023 season. And good for him. Good for him. I hope he feels better. I hope he feels healthier. I hope that helps his working relationships, and all of that. But Daboll has been calling the plays all spring and the first couple days of training camp. He refuses to admit that he's going to call the plays this year, but he is going to call the plays this year. And really interesting what we've seen the first couple days of training camp. We have seen a ton of creativity. We have seen motions. We have seen a lot of reverses. We have seen jet sweeps. We saw today, we saw an unbalanced line with Andrew Thomas moving from left tackle over to the right side, outside right tackle Josh Azudu. So we are seeing a lot of stuff. And Daboll admitted, I asked him about some of the things that we're seeing on offense, and he admitted this is year 3 for a lot of these players in his offensive system. This is year 3 for Daniel Jones as the quarterback in this system. They are adding bells and whistles. They are adding movement. They are doing more things. They're probably doing more things to disguise what they want to do. So they're adding layers to this offense. And we've seen before in training camp, I should say I've seen before, because I've been going to these Giants training camps, been covering these since 2008. And yeah, it's been that long, guys. It's been a while. So I've seen a bunch of these, and the reality of it is you see a lot of things in training camp. Sometimes, in the spring, in OTAs, in mandatory mini camp, you see teams sort of throw some things up against the wall. They try some things. They try some personnel packages. They move guys in and out. You'll see some things that you won't see during the regular season that'll never make it into a game plan. And whether some of what we've seen or not, whether we ever see the Giants use an unbalanced line with Andrew Thomas on the right side, what I'm encouraged by is the creativity. I'm encouraged by the fact that sometimes we've seen the Giants go no huddle. At times we've seen pace. So the creativity, as I said, I'm encouraged by all of that. Will we see all of that throughout the season? I don't know. I hope we see some of it. I hope all of this is a sign, that we will see some of that during the regular season, because I think that if the Giants are able to execute those things, that can only be a good thing. Jermaine Illuminor, who I mentioned earlier, happened to say today that it's way too early to judge this offense. It's way too early to draw any impressions. He said every team in the league right now is attempting to figure out its identity. So, so it's too early to figure any of that out. But as I said, the creativity that we've seen, has been a great thing. Again, Giants fans, we're live here. Please drop your comments, drop your questions. Let me know if there's specific players that you would like to know anything about. Have to tell you that I think I jinxed Tyrone Tracy today, the rookie running back out of Purdue. Sitting there watching Tracy today get first team reps, turned to one of the other media members, and I said, hey, I said, look at Tracy. Look at who's getting first team reps here. When Devin Singletary's out, look who's getting more first team reps than anybody else. And as soon as I said that, Daniel Jones handed the ball off to Tyrone Tracy, who took it wide left, got bumped, and fumbled. So thanks, Ed. Thanks, Big Blue View. Jinxing Tyrone Tracy. Way to go. But still, the point was Tracy is getting a fair amount of first team reps at this point. Brian Daboll said it's way too early to figure out running back depth chart behind Devin Singletary. And he's right, of course. There's very little running even going on at this point in training camp. But I did think it was interesting to see that Tracy was getting a fair amount of first team reps. Eric Gray has also gotten a handful of first team reps. Couple of other alignment things to get into. The tight end depth chart is pretty deep with Daniel Bellinger, with two blocking tight ends in Chris Manhertz and Jack Stoll, with rookie Theo Johnson, also with Jack with Lawrence Cager. And one thing that we've noticed is when you come to blocking tight ends, Manhertz at this point is clearly ahead of Stoll. Manhertz is working with the ones, and Stoll is working clearly with the twos and threes. Cager's also getting some work with the ones, as is Daniel Bellinger. Alignment note to be aware of also is that Azudu has been at right tackle with Illuminor sidelined. So there's that to consider as far, if you're thinking ahead to what the 53-man roster might look like. Ben Eden wants to know if the Giants are relying on Rakeem Nunez-Roches as the second defensive tackle. Ben, the Giants' base at this point is a 3-4. And, Dexter Lawrence is in the middle of that at the nose. And what we've seen, Nunez-Roches is one of the guys getting a lot of first team reps. Rakeem Nunez-Roches has been a good player in the NFL for a number of years. Probably didn't have the impact with the Giants a year ago that they had hoped he would have. But Nunez-Roches looks like he's going to be a guy who gets a significant number of reps. Ryder Anderson, who spent last year on the practice squad, has been getting some first team reps. Anderson, of course, is a guy that Shane Bowen talked about in Hard Knocks as a potential penetrator. And again, I don't know. Let's not overreact and say Ryder Anderson's going to be a starter. This might simply be the Giants testing Ryder Anderson, sort of poking and prodding a little bit to see if he's up to that. You still have Jordan Phillips on the roster. DJ Davidson, 5th-round pick a couple of years ago, has been getting a handful of reps with the first team, not too many, but we'll see. I do believe when it comes to Nunez-Roches, though, that he is a guy the Giants are absolutely counting on to be a mainstay on that defensive line, a guy who plays a ton of snaps in 2024. We'll see how Jordan Phillips, veteran that the Giants signed in the offseason, fits into all of that. And some of the young guys, like I said, Anderson, DJ Davidson, Jordan Riley. We'll see, a couple of the undrafted guys, Casey Rogers and Elijah Chapman. We'll see how they all end up fitting into the picture there. Something interesting at the cornerback spot. Giants drafted Drew Phillips in the 3rd round, but it still looks like Nick McLeod is the favorite to be the slot corner. McLeod got most of the first team reps throughout the spring. That has continued in the first 2 days of training camp. Drew Phillips has gotten a first team rep here and there, but Nick McLeod is getting almost all of the first team reps in the slot. Isaiah Simmons is getting some slot reps. That's another thing that Shane Bowen talked about in Hard Knocks. It looks like the Giants are working him, as a hybrid, sometimes as an inside linebacker. Sometimes they're working him out in the slot. He did one-on-one coverage drills on Thursday against wide receivers. I think I saw 1 or 2 reps with Simmons in coverage during those one-on-one drills. So he's another option in the secondary. And right now, and again, this could change. Right now, Dane Belton, 3rd-year safety, is the starter alongside Jason Pinnock. We will see if 2nd-round pick Tyler Nubin can step up and take that job from Dane Belton. But right now, Uh, right now, it's McLeod in the slot and Belton at the other safety that used to be occupied by Xavier McKinney. So, the Giants will be back out at practice on Friday. Yours truly will be out there. I'll be joined on Friday out at Quest Diagnostics by Big Blue View's Nick Filato. So we'll be double teaming practice for you guys. So please, check out all of our coverage at bigblueview.com. Come back to our YouTube channel for more thoughts and insights, more discussion of the Giants training camp. And please remember, we will continue to give you guys as much coverage. We'll continue to be on hand, at practice as often as we absolutely can. There are going to be days when we're not there, but we will be there more often than we aren't. So, please, stick with us for all of your coverage, all of your news, all of your features and analysis as the Giants get ready for 2024 season. All right. Thank you for listening, Giants fans. Please stay safe out there. Take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.